Hi. Well, what we're going to discuss is what happens to a damper when it's been laid down for a period of time in a box somewhere. Now, one of the things which will happen on these dampers is that the gas and the oil, which are separate, the oil will absorb the gas. Much like a lemonade bottle, what will happen is that a pressurization of the gas will enter the oil or lemonade, and it will appear that the gas pressure has gone away. All what's happened is that the gas has been absorbed by the oil. Much like with lemonade, if you have a lemonade bottle, you leave it standing, it doesn't seem very pressurized. Give it a shake, the gas comes back out from the lemonade. Same what happens here when they operate. The oil pushes through all the valves and the gas and the oil then separate and the pressure returns, but it will appear after a period of time to have lost gas pressure, but it's not that the gas has left the shock absorber, it's just been absorbed into the oil. The other thing which will happen is that with these dampers like these, there's an inner and outer tube. So the inner tube should be full with oil, and the outer tube, about a third of the height of the bottom, will be filled with oil. The remainder above that will be gas. But what will happen over time as they lay down, some of the oil will make it through to the outer, some of the gas will make it through to the inner. So you end up with a situation where you have gas in the pressure system, more oil in the other system, and the two have to get back to where they should be. So these dampers like these with the single adjuster at the bottom, they take more to bleed out than the top adjustable dampers we make. Also these ones where you can see two adjusters at the bottom, again these take quite a bit of time to bleed out, because with both of these systems the oil goes round a loop and back in to the above the base valve in the rebound stroke. So where gas on a normal damper will be expelled out the top and just sucked fresh oil in the bottom, these recycle it round a few times, so it takes a little bit of time for them to bleed out, and it may be a few drives, so that you drive it, you leave it, you drive it, you bleed, but once it's done they'll remain bled for a very long time. It's just that initial thing after they've been sat around for a while. So these ones here, one of the things you've got to be a little bit careful of is if you're pushing down on them, you don't want to be pushing in that adjuster at the bottom. So if you've got a little something you can sit them on. One of the things you might see, for instance, when they're unbled, you just put the damper, push the rod in like that. And the thing to do is to literally just cycle it slowly. You don't want to go fast because that would be mixing the oil and the gas. So what you want to do, but push down as hard as you can. Oh, that one's already bled out. But go for full stroke, not just a little bit, full stroke, so you're cycling it round all the way each time. And that one bled out immediately, but these ones have got a fresh charge of gas in, whereas ones where the gas and oil or the gas has gone into the oil, they will take longer, because as you cycle it, gas keeps coming out the oil, and where you think you've bled it, it's coming back out again. So it can take a few goes at it, but once they're done, they're done. Have a go with this one, which is a double adjustable, which again has been set on its side and allowed. So again, absolutely nothing there, still nothing there. Oh, and I can just feel at the point there are bubbles in there. and when I'm pushing down I can feel them popping through the valve. So there's still air in there. But they do bleed out, but they will be slower to bleed out if when the oil and the gas have combined, because each time you're cycling it, you've got gas coming out of the oil, and where you think you've bled it, it's come out and it's there again. But that's just a case of basically have a go, have them standing up, cycle them a few times, do it again, maybe an hour later, and it will bleed out. It's only really if they've been stood for a prolonged amount of time. Realistically, if you didn't look, didn't know, fitted them on the vehicle, went for a drive, round the block, come back, went for another drive round the block, they bleed themselves. They auto do that, but it takes a little bit of time. It's a little bit like your brakes on the car. You know, if you've got air in the system, you pump them a few times and it pumps the pedal up, and all what's happening there is that the bubbles which are in the oil or brake fluid get absorbed into the fluid, but then when you leave it a bit they come back out again because you haven't really bled it. There's nowhere for it to go, whereas these, when that gas comes to the top of the damper, it can go between the guide and the rod and go out. So they do bleed it out because the pressure below is higher than the pressure above, so that it can escape. That's all I've really got to say here, but hopefully that's been of some use to you. Cheers, bye.